Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to just do the cabbage rolls real quick here, walk you through it, show you how to do this stuff. I was going to do the brownies. We had my daughter's birthday here yesterday, and we had two birthday cakes and had stuff left from the pumpkin rolls and date nut bread. So I decided I'll do that Sunday when we do the ribbon sandwiches, which I'm going to schedule that for 3 o'clock. And I will walk you through that. I will already have the corned beef brisket cooked and cooled so I can slice it, and I'll show you how we put them together in the sauce I make and stuff. And I will do those 1950 brownies because, like I said, we've got a lot of stuff here, and I just don't need it for right now. Any more sweet stuff. So anyway, on the cabbage, I took take a big pan with water, and I put some olive oil in it. This is what I have left of the head of cabbage here. And I took and just cut that core way down to where the leaves can peel back as they cook. And you just put that, the core side up like this, and put it down in the water and let it just on a slow boil. And just keep peeling the leaves back. And they're going to look like this. I'm going to start peeling them back, and they're going to look like this as they cook. And then take them out and put them in a bowl until you get them all done. And then you can put them back in that water and finish cooking them where they're almost done. So then I took them after that. I drained them. I rinsed them in some cold water. I laid them out on a paper towel. So you can lay them out like this to where you can take them and roll them. So I've got those ready to go. And it's really easy to do. You just keep cutting back pretty deep at that core. And then when you get down so far, you're going to be able to just put it over in the sink and just fill these smaller ones. Like this size is closer in. You can just fill them right back. So anyway, I have here in a bowl, I have a pound of lean ground beef. And I have a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of pepper in here, and I have a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. I took and I ground up in the food chopper a medium onion, and I took about, it's going to amount to about a good tablespoon of fresh parsley, put that in there and ground it up with it, and a fresh, about a tablespoon of dill, fresh dill, and I ground those all up, because that's going to go in with the meat mixture in here. So I'm adding that, and this is going to give it a lot of flavor here. I have a fork here. Then I have large can of, and it's like the size of your veggies, like your corn and green beans. I have 1 can of diced tomatoes. I salted, and I had the large can of them. I use Hunt's tomato sauce because I like it better. And so I've got a baking dish here, like this size. Have my oven to 350. I'm going to pour some of this sauce down in here because I'm going to lay those egg rolls in there as I roll them. And I should have scheduled this, but I wasn't feeling real good, so I wasn't sure I was going to go ahead and get it done. But anyway, it's up now, and so you'll have the recipe for this. I'm gonna spread that out. Then I'm going to take some of the diced. I did take half the can of the diced tomatoes and put it in with the tomato sauce. And I added 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper in there, and some pepper, and just take a spoon and taste it. I also put a tablespoon of sugar in with the diced tomatoes, tablespoon of sugar in with the tomato sauce. So anyway, I'm going to take and mix this mixture in with the ground grape. And again, that's half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and I took 1 medium onion, run it through the food processor with a tablespoon of fresh parsley and a tablespoon of fresh dill. I pinched the leaves off to it and just ground that up, and that's in here. I did take and pre-cook some rice. I cooked way too much, so I'm going to be making some rice pudding with what's left. I'm going to take some of the tomato and tomato sauce mixture, and I'm going to stir this in with the meat mixture until I got this, so I can put the rice in here, so I can mix these up. So that's going to take all of that right that I had in that container. And with that, I put some eighth of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, like I said, and tablespoon each in the diced tomatoes and the tomato sauce. I put a tablespoon in each can of that. It takes that acid taste off. So to this, I'm going to add about a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of cooked rice. You just kind of have to eyeball it. And you're going to blend that mixture so you've got it all blended pretty well. Your rice will act as your bind, holding your egg roll mixture together. You put any eggs or anything in like that. And mix this up like that. And then I'm going to take this. Let me get rinse my hands off. Get my rag. Okay, now let me wipe this up a little bit. I got stuff all over, slinged over. Okay, this bowl, I said I took half those, that mixture of the tomatoes and the sauce and put them in the bottom here. I'm going to start laying the egg rolls in there, and I'm going to cover, not egg rolls, the cabbage rolls, and cover them with the mixture. Now, you want to take this little hard core out down here. You can if it didn't cook tender enough. You can just kind of take it out, and you can still take, it's going to look like this, your leaf is, and you're going to take that and you're going to put some of this rice and meat mixture in there, and you're going to take and fold those edges up and tuck that under and just roll it. And you're going to take that and lay that in there like that, and you just keep doing them. Some of these, the cork was pretty tender, so it did fall apart. Some of the cabbage rolls do, but they're going to fall apart. And, you can always take and, patch them up, roll them, and make them look okay, because they're going to lay down in there and cook anyway. You just keep rolling them like this. Let me look for some of these that's a little better. And you can keep rolling them. And you put them in there real tight, because you've got to put several of them in there. So looking for the ones that's going to hold together a little better to roll first. I can use my ends and pieces. And remember, if you have any of this mixture left, you can take and pat it around your cabbage rolls. Same thing with you. If you have any leftover cabbage, just take and lay it in there and pat it around there. If you don't have enough to roll, then just, lay it in there. However you can make them work. And you just keep going with these. My oven just beeped. I'm going to take that core out of that. And then even on some of these that are smaller, like this, and you want to get that core out, just take the two of them and put some of that mixture in there and put them together, because they're going to hold together. You're just rolling, and the meat's going to combine them and hold them together anyway. And then you can take those and just lay them like that in your mixture. And then I'm going to take this one, take a little bit of that core out there. This one is a little bit hard, not too bad. A little piece of it out. There we go. And like I said, Sunday, I'm going to do the 1950 brownies. I'm not doing them today because my daughter's birthday was yesterday, and we ended up having 2 birthday cakes. And I've just got so much stuff around here that we need to get used up. We just need to get it used up. Like I said, if these don't tuck together just perfect for you, just keep rolling them and tucking them until you can get them in there like that. And put them in there pretty tight so they'll fit. And here I've got another little hard piece of that. corn there. I'm just using my hands, guys, to fill these. It's the best way to do it. Don't know any other way to tell you to do it. Put that in there like that. I like to make sure the cabbage is cooked pretty good so it's not tough. You don't want your leaves to be tough, so make sure you cook it down where the leaves are tender. And just keep rolling them. And there's going to be several in here. And this was just a medium head of cabbage. Like I said, I took that head of cabbage and put it in some olive oil watered, where I put just a big pan of water with some olive oil in it and let them cook down. As they started cooking, I cut that core way back. You cut it way back in there so those leaves can start falling, pulling apart. And then you just kind of help them as they start cooking. You're going to notice it'll pull apart pretty easy for you. And then you just keep doing your thing. Just keep pulling apart. And then I take them off, put them in a bowl, let them till I get all the cabbage done I can get done. And then I take and put it in I take and put it back in the water and then let it cool the leaves down. And then I take and lay them out on a paper towel to have them dry and get them ready like I did today for this. And because when they're cool down, they're much easier to roll. And as you can see, I got some pieces here that I'm putting together to make them work because it kind of fell apart in here and that. This is kind of the tough part there of the cabbage. So those end pieces, you can take and put them a little bit or put them, lay them back in the bottom of this one when finished cooking till they're tender if you want to. I mean, you can do that. I'm just trying to get these rolls with what I can with the good ones first. And then I'll show you how you can tuck your extra meat mixture if I have any left. I pretty well have figured it out. Found how much I need when I make these. And again, that was just a pound of lean ground beef. About 3/4 cup of cooked rice and your onion. Let me see, onion, the dill, and the fresh parsley ground up, put in there. And then, of course, it's got the garlic powder and salt and pepper, about half a teaspoon of each of those in there. And I did take 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne, and I split it between the diced tomatoes and the tomato sauce. So I just put a little bit of that 1/8 teaspoon each one. I stirred, put a tablespoon of sugar in each one to take that wing out, and then mix those together. And I've got that, some in the sauce and some in the bottom, which I'm going to cover these egg rolls with as soon as I get them all in here. And like I said, you can go back. See, there's not going to be much meat left. And if I hadn't cut all the core off back, I would have probably had plenty there. And you just keep rolling them and just tuck them in here. And this little bit of meat that's left here, I'm just going to take it. Look, take it. I'm going to just put it in the sides here and between this stuff. And you've got a whole, and I tell you something's good with this. And it's got the rice, mashed potatoes. Homemade mashed potatoes is wonderful with this, I think. You're going to take the rest of your sauce and you're going to spoon over this in the bottom. This is really a pretty simple dish, and it doesn't cost a lot to make it either because you don't have a lot of meat in here. Pound of ground beef isn't a lot. I'd use the extra, a little bit leaner, the 80/20, I think is what it was on that. So, because I don't want a bunch of grease in it for this. Now, when I make my meatballs, I use a little fattier meat in there. Go ahead and get the rest of that out. And just take them like that. That's my hands off again, guys. So anyway, for Sunday, on the brisket, corned beef brisket, buying one, I'm going to put it on about, in my crock pot, I'm going to put it on about, probably about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to let it cook Because if I go live at 3, I want it to cool for about an hour. So I'm gonna need it to just cook like that. And so it can cool and I can slice it. And I buy Swiss cheese, go on them, whatever kind, if you want rye bread, wheat bread, but some kind of sturdy bread, even a sourdough bread. The Texas toast, I like to use it. And I make my, because it's an oven, I make my own sauce up for it. And the sauerkraut, we use, I use a Bavarian sauerkraut because it's a little sweeter. I drain it real good. And I use the Swiss cheese, like I said, and I take mayonnaise. And let me get this out of the way. Wipe my hands off again. Sorry, guys. Mayonnaise, a little bit of pickle relish, sweet relish, and sriracha, and I use that for the sauce to go on. And they turn out really good. And then I will make the 1950 brownies. I was going to do today, but like I said, we got all this cake left, and I really don't have any place to put it. And I have some of those pumpkin bars left that I made the other day, and that date nut bread. So we're trying to get all that used up. Next week, I'm going to do the, probably in the middle of the week, I'm going to do the stuffed bell peppers. Everybody's been wanting to do those, the bell peppers. And I'm going to make some kind of potato dish. I don't know. I'm going to do scallops or the mashed potatoes. But do one of them. Anyway, if you want to cook with me on the corned beef brisket for the Reubens, just take and go ahead and cook your corned beef brisket off. I put mine in a crock pot. You can put it in the oven at about 325. Put it on about 8 in the morning. And I only put just a tiny bit of water in the bottom. I'll leave the spice packet on it. And I put it in and cover it. But if I'm putting the oven, but I'm going to use my crock pot. I get my crock pot on, plugged in, and turned up to high while I'm getting the meat ready. And then I get the meat in there, cover it, and I leave it and put that little bit of liquid, about this much liquid on it. And I let it cook for about, well, it'll probably cook, I'll fork it and see, from 8 o'clock till at least 1:30 if it needs, because I'm going to live at 3. And then I'll take that out and let it cool to where I can slice it. I do have a real sharp knife I can use, or I can do it with electric knife. And I'll probably get the Texas toast and use it personally myself, because I think it holds the sandwiches better together. And when you slice that real thin, I can usually out of one of those briskets get about 6 Reuben sandwiches. And I get 1 can of the Bavarian sauerkraut and drain it to get all that moisture out of it. I get a pack, an 8 count or whatever count Swiss cheese. You can use a slice on each side if you want to. And then I just take, like I said, I'll show you how to make the dressing. It's the mayonnaise, the sriracha, and the sweet pickle relish. So I take and put, somebody's trying to call me. Hold on, guys. Get this one. Okay. And do that. I'm going to take the rest of this leftover rice here, and I'm going to make a little rice pudding tomorrow with that. But this is what's left of the head of cabbage, anyway. And if you want to make the brownies, you're going to have just the Hershey's powdered cocoa. You're going to have some powdered sugar for the topping. You're going to need some butter, eggs, flour, oil. Let me see, a little bit of milk. I can't remember just exactly what, but general stuff. And remember, I'll have everything measured. But when I give you the ingredients, I'll mix it on the live and we'll put it in while we're making the Reuben sandwiches. And I'll take that and make the icing too for it with a little bit of cream cheese and powdered sugar and cocoa and butter and a little bit of cream. Make that. But I'll bake the brownies on it. But remember to go ahead and, if you want to go ahead and pre-sift a little bit of flour, you can, like, I don't know, maybe 2.5, 3 cups of flour, and just have it ready. and it's up to you, or y'all can just do it along with me. I'm gonna have everything measured and ready. Gonna have my eggs at room temperature, of course. I already have my flour measured and sifted, and have all the ingredients measured out, and the pan ready in the oven on 325 for the brownies, and I'll have the stuff ready for the icing. And we'll do those Reubens. I don't really fix anything else when we have those Reuben sandwiches at all. Now, next week, Wednesday, I will do the stuffed peppers, and I'm probably just going to stick with, I may just go ahead and make some homemade scallop potatoes. I think that's something different. Do those to go with. I think that'd be pretty good to go with that. And just do that. And then I'm hoping it cools off. It's not cooled off here yet, because I want to get into making some crock pot things like chilling and things like that. I'm going to show you some appetizers and start getting into some more of the fall dishes. And I don't know, we'll see. Maybe since it's getting close in October sometime, I'm going to go ahead and probably do some, I don't know, pumpkin pie or pecan pie or something, get those out of the way and show you, so you know how to do them for the holidays. You have any certain kind of pies you want to see? Oh, and I do have one meatloaf up. I'm going to do another meatloaf, and I want to do Elvis Presley's meatloaf. I've never tried it. I heard it is really good, and I want to do that. So we're going to do that. I'm going to do that in a live. I might do that, not this Sunday, but a week from this Sunday, do that. So that'll be a couple of things to look forward to. And of course, with that, I'm going to make mashed potatoes to go with that, and probably have the little peas, you know, or I don't know, maybe corn, I'm not sure. Maybe some little miniature corn on the cob. Decide when I post it. Anyway, I got that in and covered. That's where those cabbage rolls are so easy to make. And I'm going to do maybe a few, like I might show you how to make club sandwiches to do, and some dips for some parties, like for Halloween or Thanksgiving or Christmas, just different kinds of dips and appetizers. So anyway, let me see who else here. Hi everybody. Hi Wendy. Hi Missy Cat. Hi everybody. Thanks so much for being here. My meatloaf is, I have a meatloaf. Go back into my videos, Missy Cat, and you will see one of the first ones I did my meatloaf. And I walked it through there. It's very simple, and you'll be able to see it. But I am going to do the Elvis Presley one next week, because I want to try it. It's a little different. I haven't tried it. So go through there and you'll see it. I did do it. And I've even done my homemade mashed potatoes and some things, but there's some other videos up. Spaghetti meatballs. I have stroganoff. I have I think I've done the Swiss steak. I'm not sure if I've done that yet or not. I think I have. I've done several chicken and dumplings. I've done fried pork chops. I've made several different desserts. I've done the banana bread, the nut bread. I've done the pumpkin bars. I've done a couple of cheesecakes. That's just kind of the gist. But go back through and look. Only thing I did in the very beginning, I did 2 or 3 videos, because I didn't know I could go through StreamYard. I thought I had to wait to get approved from YouTube, but I figured out I could go through StreamYard. So sorry I didn't give you all a lot of notice on this today. I wasn't sure about doing it, because I've had tests done all week this week, just general testing for just different things, neurological things in your heart, just general tests. And they changed some of my medicines, and I'm trying to adjust to that. So I've just kind of been feeling kind of yucky. Plus it's been extremely humid here, and it just, when you get older, it just makes you feel kind of yucky anyway. My youngest child turned 40 yesterday, so we had a little party for her, just her kids and her husband and me. We had some black and a lot of black tablecloth, the black over the hill, black balloons, and we had some cakes. And she wanted gumbo. I made gumbo, and I made a cheese corn dip, which is easy. I'll tell you all the ingredients on that. I'll be making that again around the holidays. It was really good. I hadn't tried it before, but it's really a good one. And I might even, I'm gonna experiment a little bit with this rice on some rice pudding. And I do want to do some baked custards, maybe get into making some creme brulee. It is a process, or some chocolate mousse for around the holidays, so you have some options on that stuff. I'm even gonna show you how to do the wild rice and Cornish game hens. We'll do some things like that. So different kinds of dressings, different, like I said, different side dishes with different kinds of ways to do sweet potatoes, where you can make them really almost like a dessert, or you can make them, you know, like a side dish. So again, that's what I have. Those cabbage rolls need to bake for about 45 minutes to an hour to make sure they're done and they're good and hot and the meat's done and everything, and their meat's cooked through. And cover them, bake them at about 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour, and just check them. You'll be able to tell. But my oven's old, so it usually is going to take probably an hour on that. And let me see what else. So anyway, Sunday the Reubens and the 1950 brownies. And I also have a good chocolate cake recipe for you. I'll go back and look at it. I did the whole thing from scratch. I did a chocolate icebox dessert that is really good. But you want to go back. That chocolate cake was my aunt's, and I have it memorized. It's one of the best cakes I've ever had in my life. And the secret to it is the sour cream. It just is. But and like I've said, when you all go to baking and stuff, make sure you sift first and then you measure. Check your dates always on your baking powder, your baking soda, all your oh, let me see, even on your flours, your shortening, any of that kind of stuff, and especially your leavening ingredients and stuff, even on your cocos, things like that. Spices do expire, and the older they get, the weaker they are. Sometimes you can get kind of a bitter taste to them. So make sure you check that. I check everything, even the canned stuff when I buy it in storage. I just check everything because it seems like they keep a lot of expired stuff on the shelves that they didn't use to, or they're expiring within a week or two. I noticed that really bad with cereals here lately. Grandkids eat cereal quite a bit, but when they don't want anything hot. But I mean, you even have to watch the dates on the cereal, unfortunately. But that's what I have today, guys. Like I said, go back and just kind of watch what I told you from the beginning, because the cabbage, like I said, I take it when I first get it and I rinse it real good, and I take that core and I cut way back into the cabbage about this far. I just take that whole end off, and you're going to have where the leaves, you can see where they just kind of want to pull apart, only they're going to be the full size leaves. Don't pull, don't force them. Just go ahead and put that in that real hot water. It's got a low boil to it. And I put some olive oil in there. And just as they go, you can be able to take your fork in there and start pulling them back as they get tender enough. Take those out and put them in a bowl and leave them until you get all your leaves done. And then take them and put them back in the water and finish cooking them till they're pretty tender. Then I take that, drain them, I put them in, run cold water over them, and I take and let them cool in a strainer, and I take and lay a paper towel out on a mat, and I let them dry and let them just get all the moisture out of them. And I cook the rice ahead. It's better to have your rice cold, and just rinse your rice good after you cooked it to get all that yumminess out of it and stuff, and just run it through a strainer, just set it aside and get all the water out of it, and then it's ready. And I use that, like I said, that 1 pound of that extra lean ground beef, and there wasn't a lot to it other than your medium onion. I had fresh parsley, I had fresh dill. You can use the dried ones, they're fine, you can use those, but I just used, because I had some, and like I said, I used about a tablespoon of each of those. Run it through in the food processor, and a medium onion through there. And then half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, and I put a half a teaspoon of garlic powder in there. Mix that all together, and I took 1 large can of the crushed tomatoes, not crushed, but the diced tomatoes, and 1 large can of the tomato sauce. And I mixed them together. But before I mix them together, I put a tablespoon in each can of sugar because it takes that acid taste away. Then I took and mixed this together and put that eighth of a teaspoon of that cayenne pepper in there, and I put a little bit of regular pepper and just a pinch of salt. Again, those diced tomatoes were salt. There were no salt, so I could work them. Make sure you take it easy on the salt because most of your tomato sauces are extremely salty. And you can always add more salt. I just took them, after I did the sauces, I took and tasted them and seen where they were at. And I know pretty well about them, what they're going to taste like. If you really want to taste your spices, you can take and mix your tomato, the half of that tomato sauce and the crushed or the diced tomatoes with your rice, and you can put your onion and your seasonings in there, and then add your and the dill and the parsley. You can take and do that and taste it, but don't taste it after you put the raw meat in. Do not taste it once you've got the raw meat in there if you want to see where it's at. But usually by the time since I tasted that, and the tomato sauce and the diced tomatoes are going to cook into, they're on the bottom and on the top, the cabbage rolls, they should have plenty of, they should be okay on the salt and stuff. So that's what I have today, guys. We'll do that Sunday. Next week I'll do the green pepper, stuffed peppers, and they can be, if your bell peppers are real expensive, just buy the different, those smaller size ones. I can show you how to use them too. You can take and parboil them too. Make the same filling up and split them, and you can layer those in a baking dish with the stuff, and they'll come out just as good. Oh, also on the cabbage rolls, right at the end, when I take them out, I put slices of cheese on top, or you can put grated cheese. You can put any kind of cheese you want. I take just regular American cheese slices, and I put on top of those and let it melt. I also put that on top of my stuffed bell peppers when they're done. I like to just take the lid off and put that cheese. I just think it gives it extra little bit. But I'll do scalloped potatoes, and with the Elvis Presley meatloaf, I'll definitely do the homemade mashed potatoes again, and some peas, or maybe corn on a cob, maybe both. We'll just wait and see. And I'll see if maybe about some more side salads, something I might want to show you all how to do. I already have some of the side salads up, so that'll give you some other things, but we'll get into the other stuff. Now it's coming up, getting close to getting into the holidays and Halloween and stuff. I have several dips and things for parties and stuff to show you. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you to all my new subs. I appreciate you subbing, giving me a chance to show you some things. And like I said, if there's something you want to see that I have not already made, go back and look through my videos. They're all titled. And if there's something you want to see, just tell me in the comments, because I go back and look in the chat, the live chat. When it loads the next day, the live chat's back up and I can see, or leave it in the comments under the video. And I see where somebody was asking about meatloaf. I have one meatloaf up, but I will do the Elvis Presley meatloaf next week. It's a little different. And I think I want to try it, because I heard it's just, once you eat those, you won't really want to eat any other kind. So that's where I'm going to go from that. So anyway, I will see you all Sunday, and we will do the Reubens and the 1950 brownies that were made when I was growing up. So y'all have a good evening. Try to make the cabbage rolls. They're really good, and they're not expensive to make. And I will see you all later. Have a good night. And also, guys, remember all these true crime cases, all this stuff that's going on with all these girls that are missing, and the stories that's being told. Try not to get into all the drama with the channels. Just use your own common sense, use your own facts, base your stuff on what what people are proving to you that's factual. And like I said, there's some strange things about some cases. There's a lot of there's one woman, Delissa, she's still missing, has been right after the Kylie Rodney girl went missing. And then there's also a model that's missing. Go through and check some of the channels, I mentioned their names before in here. Just go through and look at all these people that are missing, these young women that are missing from 15 up to 20, 21 years old. And it's all starting a pattern. It's all over again. So I think I can say is make sure if you got teenagers or you got grandkids, tell them to be safe, and they need to learn to not trust people. You just can't trust people out there. You just can't. So it's better not to even trust. Like they said, keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. There's a reason for that. You just need to really make sure, because you just don't know that nowadays. You don't know who's friend and who isn't, actually, unless you've known them. I have some that are very dear friends, and I have some YouTube friends that are very dear, and I would trust about anything, but it's far and few. So you learn those things and the patterns of who you can trust and who you can't. So anyway, have a good evening, guys, and I'll talk to you later. And thanks for being here, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.